let's just go over the air boxes for starters. All right, let's just start with the AFE. All right, so we have, this is going to suck in hot air. It's up at the top. Let me tell you, when this intake was installed, it made pretty much no noise. So if you're after noise, that's not what you want. And if you're after a vehicle that works, that's not what you want. S&B, this intake is super cool. Looks very nice. It is humongous, right? And you can pull this side piece right here. That comes right off. Now you have a full open element. This makes a lot of noise. If that's what you're after, it's totally understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. My fuel mileage went down. My performance went down. Check out the other videos I have, and you'll see where the performance went away, as well as the fuel economy. All of them, you do utilize a nice seal for the intake from the factory. K&N airbox, smallest airbox out of all of them. It's going to make this easier to install. However, here's the potential downside. This goes on the top. It's just a foam piece, and yes, I will clean this all off. It's just a foam piece, so we're going to be pulling hot air directly out of right here. So we'll check that out, see if that has any negative consequences. Once you're rolling, I don't see that being an issue, but I bet it makes for good dyno runs with the hood open. Big fan on there, probably pulls in a lot of air. Real life usage, I don't know, but we'll find out. S&B air intake duct. Let me tell you what I don't like about this. All right, so the airflow goes in here. This is from the air filter, goes through this way. They set up the mass airflow sensor in a bend, and it's off center. So you're really never gonna get great numbers from that. S&B, right? So the air filter is on this side of it. So air is going in, and then we're hitting it on the side again. Airflow going in, and we're in a bend. Just before, so it just gets to the point where it's going to straighten out. So let's look at it from the back side. It's just starting to straighten out. That if you look at the AFE, so here is that pen. You see that they actually have it centered. They go from a huge diameter down to a really small diameter. If you look at this, doesn't that diameter look smaller than that of the S&B? Yeah, so there's a lot of funny business going on there. All right, so here's what I'm trying to explain. The air is going this direction, right? But it's going to flow through that tube. So yes, the mass airflow sensor is centered in there, but look at what the airflow is doing. And this is for my Camaro. But if you look, we got a lot of straight pipe right there. So you're going to get a good reading off of this intake. Now, again, that's not for this vehicle. But what I'm alluding to is the K&N pipe. Look, it's in a straight. Look at that, and it's centered. So let's get to installing this. What do you think? Question often asked is if you have the still-in scoop, is it going to work well with all the water and nastiness? As you can see, water and nastiness has hit here. You can see how much is here, how much is there, and then down in there. Now I'll take everything else off and we'll take a closer look. All right, looking down into there, this leads into the air box, which you can see there is some there. None up top, so nothing making through the air filter. Now the thing with paper air filters is if they absorb water, they really become disfigured, and this has no disfigurement at all. And that might be because of this covering right here is doing a very good job of that, but hopefully that helps answer some of that question. Notice how the mass airflow sensor is straight through the center of it. A little bit of disfiguring right there. Let's ignore that. Airbox construction here is thick. It's nice, smooth inside. It's coated somehow. Couldn't tell you, I just don't know. Here's where you want to swap over your little grommets, which don't stay very well. So I'm going to stick the box in first, and then stick these on, and then pop it into place. So this box is actually the easiest one that I've installed. It's even easier than factory. However, I've got some issues it's not fitting right now, so I have it on that stud. Let me climb in here. You can see the little nub thing isn't going to be able to get into the hole to line it up. And that's without the grommet even on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this hole to move this back, so that way you can center on there, because I want the two to stick on to the frame. And we'll be okay, I think. I'm going to move it close to the edge though. However, I'm going to get to it. As you can see, I just moved the hole down, so that way the whole box can shift that way. So now we're using the grommet, even just barely, on this side. Using the grommet again. So this will stabilize by getting this duct in there. I mainly just don't want this thing rattling around a ton. It's going to get noisy and then we're going to lose the grommets. But with the duct here, holding on here, that's going to support it. And then with this going in, that'll support it as well. Should be solid. Alright, we're kind of falling apart at the seams here. So trying to get, look, so that doesn't fit in there. See how it's bent? So I've undone the bolt, obviously, to pull it this way to try to get it to fit better. It's not fitting better. When I pull it in, the nubs in the back don't line up. I'm falling apart at the seams here, but I'm going to take the box off. I'm going to open this up a little bit because clearly that's a little too snug, and then we're going to see if we can get this to work. Alright, so obviously I've pulled out the duct, right, and I've got the air box out now. So setting it in, you can see. Now I do understand that you want that tight in there, but that's just too tight. And we can't really worry about that tightness when you have a completely open top. So I'm going to open this up right here and see if that helps. I figure I want this to work. I want it to work, and I want this to fit. I want it to fit cleanly, smoothly. I'm going. Alright, and we have fitment. I opened up that corner right there up at the top, as well as that one on the top left, and some of the bottom to get it to fit in there. And we have fitment. There we go. It's a little squished in still, but I'll fix that. So I'm going to clean this all up. We know we fit. Then let's give it another go. Alright, the duct is in. Flows into the box. Obviously not as well as I'd like it to. It's kind of like pick which way you want to go here. I want the support back there, which we have. And that's from sliding that back there. If I slid this back this way more, this will go in more, but then I'll have no support back there. I don't like that. We'll see how that affects me right here. We might have to just pull this all the way back. I don't know. I have high expectations when it comes to installation of items and replacement of items, and they really should fit better, or actually the same as or better than factory. But we're going to continue on with this. We're getting there. Let's see what we got next. Alright, I think this is like the 20th time that this box has come out, but here's a close-up of the issues that we're having here. Look, so you can see the threaded portion through there, just barely, right? Threaded portion, just barely, oh, sorry. Threaded portion, just barely through there. So, you know what that means? We're going to have to open up this air box hole. See? And that explains why we're having such an issue squeezing this into place. Let's spin this around. Maybe it needs to be clocked a certain way. Nope, still doesn't fit. Alright, here we go. There we go, we have threads. We have threads. Just clean it up and move along. So I've got the box installed to the duct, and it's at this point that I realize I installed this mass airflow sensor backwards. What a knucklehead. Luckily, I could just unbolt it and flip it around. So I'm going to do that right now. I did leave this loose, so that way that we can adjust to whatever issue we have next. Here it is in a straight right before a bend. Okay, the duct is in place. You can put that in. Slid it into the box so that it was good. Slid that into, well, when I set the box down, I set this into place. Okay, and then this was loose, remember? So the order that I tightened things, tightened this first, these two bolts, because this is fixed to the box. So there's no play that's going to be there. And then I tightened at these clamps right here, because there's a little bit of play, a very tiny amount of play. And then you look at the box, it's all the way at the adjustment point right there. So what I want to do is try to reach in there and get those grommets. You can see they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near where they want to be. I mean, they're not even slipping into the bracket. So I'm just going to have to make do with what I got. And yeah, that one, I'm feeling in the back right there. And it's just, it's so far from there. That's a lost hope on that one. So I'm not going to use my rubber grommets back there because they're going to fall out and they're going to get lost, and I'd rather have those from my factory airbox. Once I tighten this down, I think it's going to be okay. No rattling because this is also holding it, so we have a couple points of holding. That's going to be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But here we are. We're getting close. Let's finish this up. Air filter is in. Top little filter thing. I'll take it apart for you so you can see. There's the air filter is in. Do the screen down. Foam. And a little K&N piece. Let's wrap this up. Significant amount of noise coming from that intake box. Here we go for our stock run. All right, we have 8th mile at 10.26, 0 to 60 at 7.89 seconds, 0 to 30 at 3.06.